5, 4, 3, 2, 1, fire. The only thing we have to fear is fear.
Mile 18.
This is Endurance Nation.
Hey there, Coach Patrick here from Endurance Nation with a special word for those of you looking to improve your winter training. We've created the Outseason. If you haven't heard about it, it is the 14-week focus program that has minimal hours, maximal results, designed to take your endurance fitness that you build all season long and turn it into something that's both manageable and productive in the winter. Most endurance athletes take the winter off. They adventure, they recover, they go aerobic, they go long. We don't do that inside Endurance Nation. We've inverted the commonly mistakenly understood equation for endurance and noted that you can actually build really strong functional threshold power in the winter when we don't have corresponding volume demands on our lives. And so we do that with the Outseason. If you're looking to learn more, go to endurancenation.us/Outseason. From there, you can download our Outseason PDF, learn all about how it works, and get up to speed with a few emails in terms of getting your winter dialed in so you can be your personal best this season. Don't hit the spring gasping for air, trying to figure out if your equipment works and trying to get yourself ready for that race in short order. Spend all winter with us inside the team, training together, working together, learning together, building an engine that's going to sustain you not for the entire year, but beyond that with this year-long consistent training program brought to you by Endurance Nation. Hey folks, Coach Patrick here, Endurance Nation, back with another episode. We are here today to talk a little bit about the new year, getting ourselves organized. So I like to say it, every endurance thing in its place. So as many of you know, I've been coaching endurance athletes for the better part of 20 years, and which means I've seen 20 New Year's series resolutions go by. And I can tell you, despite the advent of technology and the evolution of humanity in those 20 years, which honestly is really sort of a blink in the entire universe, but still, really nothing much has changed. Every year, people make resolutions that are super detailed, but also oftentimes super small, right? They're really specific, right? So they're like, I'm going to lose 5 pounds, right? Or I'm going to read more books, etc. But they're not really thinking long-term. One of the elements that we really try and set a tone for here inside the team is saying, what are the things that we can do that advantage us for the long term, not just towards our goal or whatever the situation may be now, but what can we do that sets up as a win-win, right? How can I structure this so that I achieve the goal that I've set out for myself for the year, but I've also learned something along the way, or I've learned something about myself, or perhaps picked up a new skill or something different. And the idea being that if we're intentional now at the beginning of the year, we can put in place some elements, some systems, some structures that are going to allow you to become successful long-term. But it does require, hitting pause on the track, stepping back for a second, getting out of that really fast, easy resolution game, right? Because when someone says to you, hey, what's your resolution? You say, well, actually, I've got that. You've already lost them, right? They don't care. Like, they don't want to hear it. They don't, because you're breaking the script. But that's exactly what we're all about here inside Endurance Nation, is saying, how do you break that script? So here is my proposal to you. 3 things, each with their own 3 things. So a total of 9, unbelievably 9 things to think about here as you kick off your new year to do things just a little bit better. So the first thing I want to challenge you for, and of course, just as a disclaimer, this presumes that you already know sort of your sport focus for the year as an athlete, and you probably even know sort of target events for yourself, or at least timing for those events. Hey, I want to do something in August, or I want to do something in June or July, or whatever those milestones may be. This is outside of the generic structures that I assume are in place for you as an engaged endurance athlete. Okay, so here we go. First up, 3 systems. I'm going to challenge you to think about 3 systems that you can put into place right now that are going to make your life significantly easier over time. Okay. So the way I challenge people to think about this is on different levels. So we have a daily system, we have a weekly system, and we have a monthly system. So what are the things you can put in place that are going to allow you to become a better endurance athlete over time? So daily systems could be something ranging from managing your sleep to a better morning routine. It could be something perhaps outside of athletics that may be helpful to you as well. Maybe some daily time with your family, or walking your dog, or reflection, etc., whatever that may be. But understanding that there's this daily exercise you're going to take, and if you do it on a daily basis, it's going to become massively additive to your overall element of success. Like, for example, one of the things that I did last year for Leadville was saying, hey, core strength is an issue. I've got to get really strong, especially when I'm going to be at altitude, humping this bike up this hill. So got a weight vest, put that on, and I walked with a weight vest almost daily, 30 minutes a day. I was already walking with the dog, but I became intentional with it. And that became a system change that I made that was on the daily that became very additive to me in terms of my long-term goals. Okay. Number 2, a weekly system. Now, the idea here is that we basically, as endurance athletes, work on a 7-day set. Some of the more advanced or nuanced athletes may work on like a 12 or a 15 or a 21-day set or whatever those may be. But for the vast majority of us, our structure of time revolves around the structure of our lives, which tends to be 7 days, running Monday to Sunday, right? Okay, so how do we improve that? What is a system approach you can bring to your week that will make things better for you? So this could be something really just banal, but for example, laundry. I talk about this a lot because we all have lots of laundry. Having a separate laundry basket for just your stuff so you can do your laundry and make sure it's all done, and you're heading into the new week having all your clothes ready. Awesome, right? Super easy, super simple. Another thing that makes weeks awesome is grocery shopping. Can you get the grocery shopping system down so you make sure you start every week with all the things that you need so you can be successful? Again, easy win, but makes a big, big difference. Another part is really maximizing your non-training time. So for some people, Sunday is a day for family. It's a day for non-exercise. It's a day for recovery. How do we turn that into something that's really powerful? So not just a not working out day, but an actual, I'm doing these things that are really positive and additive way. And doing so in a way that's demonstrably more valuable for the people that you're investing the time or the activities you're investing that time in. So how can we build a system that allows you to do that better? Maybe you prepare ahead of time for what the event's going to be. You know, when my kids are young, we used to be like, I don't know, what are we going to do today? We spent an hour and a half just thinking about what we're going to do when we could have already been on our way to do something. So just getting better at that sort of life system can be really beneficial for you and helpful. And this also really goes over to the work space as well, that our mindset that we bring to the workplace as athletes is fundamentally different than how other people think about work. So how do you structure your days like you structure your workouts? If those workouts and that workout system really is effective for you, think about more managing your work like that. Dedicated time, recovery intervals, certain things on certain days, recapping at the end of the week, setting intentions at the beginning of the week. All those elements are very similar to what we do as athletes, but you can really dive into that and turn that into a structural advantage for you if work is perhaps a place where you want to see some kind of leap, growth, or advantage for yourself. And then finally, some kind of a monthly system. What are easy monthly systems to put in place that will change who you are? So one option that we do inside the team by default is just the monthly recap. At the end of every month, we ask athletes with a simple form, how are things going? What's going well? What's not going well? What do you want to change or need to improve? And just having people take a moment to pause and reflect. I know I have a race in August, but it's January or it's June or July. Where am I? Like, how am I going? What can I change? Where am I at? We often fall into a trap of just walking through the days, taking the steps that we believe we're supposed to be taking. I'm checking the box. I did what I was supposed to do. Isn't that enough? And the sad fact of reality is no. Like, just doing the things that everyone else is doing and just doing the baseline is not definitely enough to be as excellent as you are striving to be. And so finding a way to sort of pause and reflect on that can be really helpful. Other monthly level reflection things you can do that can be helpful. I usually recommend athletes, especially those who are time bound, to build in a monthly system for volume. Take a day a month, a Saturday a month, a Friday, if you're flexible with work, a month, and just get outside for like a long period of time. Put activities together, mix and match, but just spend a bunch of hours being active. It's good for your body. It's good for your mind. It's a good break from everything. And actually, there's usually a lot of upside to all the other aspects of your life, work, intellectual engagement, because you have this devoted time to yourself. So I definitely recommend thinking something about that is really simple. Another thing would be just checking in on all of your equipment at the end of every month. How are things going? I have monthly reminders on my list, just things around my house, like changing air filters, resetting the router, but also equipment-wise as well, checking my shoes, making sure the bike is in good working order, cleaning my bike, wiping down my equipment, tidying up my exercise room or tidying up the basement where I store my stuff. Those are small monthly based activities that just don't over time maintain a sense of order and stability in our endurance lives. That's super advantageous. It doesn't take much. And the best part is with technology, once you sort of dream up what that list could be, you can automate it by having a reminder on your phone and it just shows up and you just do the things, right? And now you're moving forward. And then once you get good at that game, you can start updating and improving those reminders and the steps in those reminders to get better and better and better, making sure you're doing the things that really make a difference. Okay. All right. Next step is coming up with 3 solutions. All right, so we're into the second phase here of this conversation. And on the 3 solution sides, this is a little different because, again, it forces you to stop that script and say, oh, there are some aspects of 2023 or last year, which was awesome, and I love them. But some of those elements weren't perfect. I hit some snags, some problems, some things that I don't want to have to deal with again if I can avoid it. So what are those solutions you're going to put in place to help you avoid those problems in the future? So not just saying, dodge that bullet, hope that doesn't happen again. What do you do, right? We were just New Year's with some friends, and the dog ran out, and they said, oh, I said, you should get one of those air tags, right? You can track your dog and then go find where he or she is and then bring the dog back-ish, right? You have a good sense, right? They're like, well, we never really bought it because we've always just assumed that the last time or this time was the last time that the dog is going to run away, but it keeps running away. So it's not fixing. So how do you just say, maybe just letting this happen on a recurring basis? Not so great. So what are 3 solutions you can bring to your athletic life going forward? So a couple easy ones that I'll think about from my personal reflection. Number 1 is just nutrition. I've done a better job with meal preparation, but I'm still using my old meal preparation solution from in season and not like sort of like a low calorie or out of season nutrition perspective. So for me, one solution I want to bring to the table this year is getting back into that weekly nutrition habit, doing it in a way that's intentional and mirrors the respective goals of my season. So having a system on nutrition was last year's goal, did it. Now I have to get better at managing the nuances of it. That's an easy solution that I want to bring to the table. Another one that I've just had multiple sort of challenges with my aspirational goals and just overall physical health. So another solution I want to implement is just daily like flexibility, mobility work. It takes about 20 minutes a day. And as you get better at it, first couple of days are rough, but as you get better at it, it takes 15, maybe 20 minutes a day. You can listen to a podcast while you do it. You can make some audio notes. You can read a book. You can catch up on the news, watch a show. I don't know what you do, but for 20 minutes, the upside long-term for your overall health and mobility is massive. And you can make it just a net positive part as a start of your day and part of that morning routine. So that's a solution that I'm working on now. And I would challenge all of you to think of the same thing. And the last piece I think that solution-wise people really struggle with is that race mindset. And so if you haven't already, going back, we talked about this in previous episodes, but I'm going to touch on it again here, which is saying, how do I solve for becoming a better racer when I need to race? How do I do a better job of getting into that race mindset? And one of the ways I think you can do that is to incorporate aspects of your race mindset into how you just operate on a regular basis. For us, the race mindset inside of Station is built around the 4 keys, right? So race day is about execution, not fitness. Nothing matters until the line. You get to the line inside the box, and then you have your one thing. When you think about all of those pieces, what really matters to you in taking some of those elements out and saying, which one do I need to work on? Do I need to work on my one thing? I need to work on really making sure I'm doing the right work so that when I get to the line, I can do the good work, make sure I'm pacing myself appropriately. Am I making smart, frequent decisions, etc.? Taking some aspect of that and sort of bringing it into your day-to-day life makes a big difference. In my world, I'm bringing that lens to apply on my entrepreneurial work, not just for Endurance Nation as a project, but our other projects as well. There's several other fitness projects out there that we run, from our camps at Mile 18 to Start the Streak for runners who are getting into running, the 10 hours training system, all of those pieces all live out there. So really taking a good hard look at those and deciding what's the most important thing and how am I going to execute on that, bringing some of that mindset there. So I think there's solutions, even if you're not an entrepreneur mindset, if you're just for your own business, work, your own division, or even like a side project that you're trying to turn into maybe a side hustle, all those things can be really beneficial to you. All right, so that's number 3. So we had 3 systems, we had 3 solutions, and now we have 3 stretches. This is the fun part for me. So, okay, those other parts are sort of like investment opportunities. And so where am I put my time, energy, money in a way that's going to net benefit me? Let's kind of pivot a little bit here and just say, okay, so what are the 3 stretch things that I want to do this year and how am I going to do them? In this case, we get to be a little creative. After all, if we have fitness, we want to do cool shit with it, but you got to come up with some cool shit to do. So what is some of the cool shit that you want to do for the year that you might not otherwise be able to do if you weren't focused on it? So this isn't just do the local 5K. Maybe it could be do the local 5K with your family, your kids, or maybe a friend, companion who's not really into running. And so be a stretch for you to kind of get that person going and motivated and for you to be patient enough to do all that stuff. That's great. But what I'm talking about specifically here from a stretch perspective is like sort of athletically for you, what's a big stretch goal for you? And the idea being we're going to set these goals out there. We're going to try and work towards them across the course this year. You may or may not hit them, but we aim for the moon, we land in the stars. So same mindset, right? So for me, just to give some, clarity or examples for you. One is like, hey, I'm turning 50 this year, so I want to be able to run 50 miles on my 50th birthday. I'll tell you right now, resting my knee, it's January 1st. I'm not sure that's going to happen. I'm not sure I'm going to get to 50 miles on my birthday in a way that doesn't destroy my knee. But I still have that goal for this year, and I'm going to find a way to do it. So really kind of thinking about what are the things I need to do to get myself to that stretch goal. The whole point of stretch goal is to say, okay, if I have this goal, how am I going to get there? Okay. Another one, I have a new snowboard and some new boots, and really excited for that for this year. We don't have a ski pass dialed in, but I do want to get out there and do some serious snowboarding this year. So I have a stretch goal, getting to the mountain, which for me, doesn't sound like a stretch maybe for other people, but I definitely want to get out to the mountain for 3 days this year. And I want to get a total of 15 hours of snowboarding in, which is roughly what I would get in on a given year, but I'm going to do it in 3 days. So I'm going to kind of try and get a jam-packed weekend. And if I could really stretch, if I can make it work with my schedule and with the money and everything, I'd love to do that with a friend. Love to do that as a destination thing, like go away, do 3 high quality days, like just get out there, rip it up, and have a ton of fun, learn a bunch of skills, and just be like, check that box. That's kind of a personal sort of fun stuff, stretch goal for myself that I really want to get after and do that. And then another stretch goal, and for me, this is sort of like up in the air and other things I want to do. I did Leadville last year. I did Steamboat as well. I am super curious about some of these ultra events on the bike, particularly off-road cycling events. I just think I need to get better at riding my bike off-road so I can do it. So my goal, another stretch goal for me, will be sort of creating my own endurance event on like my gravel bike. So off-road stuff that I can do on my own, but becomes a true test of what I could possibly do. So this is going to be a little challenging up here in New England. I've got to find a way to string together different elements because I'm not just in outdoor Graveltopia, and I also want to take advantage of infrastructure resources so I don't just get destroyed or lost or out of food or out of calories. But I am going to map out my own gravel sort of off-road hybrid type event here for the middle of the year, somewhere in the June, July timeframe when the weather's nice to get out there and do some awesome fun riding. I just want to be able to challenge myself from a logistical perspective, which I think benefits me with the camps business and just as a coach and athlete overall, but also on the fitness side to say, all right, how do I pick something that's just hard enough that I can do for this duration so I can satisfy the duration or distance goal that I may have at that time, but is also built upon for my strength. So having that stretch out there is going to force me to ride my bike. It's going to force me to do all that core strength flexibility work. I've got to dial in my nutrition. I've got to have a map. I got to make sure my computer has the map. I got the battery power. I'm going to talk to other people to plan it out. There's a whole host of things that come out of setting that stretch goal that are things that I want to work on that make me advantaged. So when you think about your endurance year this year, sit down, go ahead, get out the pen and pencil. We want 3 systems that are going to make you better. We want 3 solutions for things so we can just make sure we put them to bed after last year so we don't have them again. And then we want our 3 stretches. What are the 3 stretch things that we're going to do heading into this new year that are going to challenge you athletically, perhaps intellectually, an opportunity for you to really just kind of rise up beyond what has been your normal and get after it. We only have so many days on this big green and blue ball as we all share here for our endurance stuff, and we'd love to see you make the most of it. So as you're planning into the next year, remember 3, 3, and 3. And if you have them, would love to see them. Drop them here on social media. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're on Twitter, or head over to endurancenation.us. We got a chat bot right there. You can tell me, fire it up. I'll be happy to talk to you. All right, everyone, have a fantastic week. I'll talk to you soon. Until then, stay healthy out there, stay fit, and keep going in Zone 2.
Endurance Nation.
Hey, podcast fans. I know you love the podcast because here you are, you're listening to it and you're still listening to me talk right now. Did you know you can get content just like this in your inbox once a month? We send out a great newsletter. We call it, guess what? The Unfair Advantage. That's right. It's our information to you, something that separates you from the competition. If they're not here, then they don't know. But if you are here, then now you do. Zero excuses. If you go check us out online at endurancenation.us/newsletter, it's your opportunity to enter your email address, sign up for these updates. They come once a month, sometimes twice a month, depending on my race schedule. And it's your chance to get insider information that's going to help you become a better, smarter athlete. Don't miss out on this chance to get ahead of the competition. It doesn't cost you any money, and it's not a ton of work. It's just your email address. That's endurancenation.us/newsletter.
For more information about Endurance Nation, visit us online at endurancenation.us. The provided music is from the Podshow Podsafe Music Network. Check it out at music.podshow.com.